My god, so it's actually true. Ashes of Creation Reddit was on fire during the last 24 hours. Look at all of these posts. They're at the top and they're all underneath 24 hours post time. That's insane. So many people seems to be dissatisfied with the current state of the game. That's crazy. That actually tells about some underlying issues here that are serious. And I mean, I know that this is only Reddit, but still, it's a pretty good indicator to what the hell is going on. I mean, whenever Reddit is going against the game, that's bad. That's usually bad because for most part, it's the exact opposite. I'm actually really surprised. Thank you guys so much for telling me to check this out again. I didn't think that too much would happen since I made my last video about Reddit, but yeah, apparently I was wrong. And also, on that note, thank you guys so much for bullying me into using dark mode. I mean, I'm still not used to it, but my corneas feels amazing. So, I guess let's just look at this. What the heck is going on at Intrepid? I mean, that's a pretty good one. So, what the heck is going on in Intrepid? So, I'm a newer player, starting when game came to Steam, yada yada. I like the game, it's very fun, etc. Okay, so he actually likes the game. But with some quick pattern recognition, something just feels off with this whole studio. First, 250 employees. Where are they? That's something I literally say all the time. The content rollout isn't even content, it's barely bug fixes. Steven is so set on this server meshing tech that he's trying to build up. I feel like a majority of employees have to have their heads in the sand pile, right? At least at this point, it feels like it's failure, but I know almost nothing about it, so someone feel free to chime and educate me. This game has been in development with a slow ramp up the past few years. Does Steven even have the skill set to keep the teams focused and productive? The Riverlands should be the most feature-complete biome, but visual bugs persist galore. I mean, you heard it first. That's crazy. That's from someone who actually likes the game. But to be honest, I do take it with a grain of salt. It can be someone who pretends to love the game and then just clown on Ashes. That can definitely be a possibility. Is there anyone in that studio that has the skill to keep Steven himself focused and on track? Is there anyone who can tell Steven no, that is too high of a friction point and will burn players out? No one would ever send to Steven because Steven is notorious for not knowing how to handle criticism. And if you do this from inside a company, we'll just let go. That's pretty much it. And by the way, they're starting to do that if you haven't paid attention recently. No, Steven, the combo of XP debt plus losing materials plus gear damaging has the potential to be too high of a bar for the average casual player. I don't think they care about that. This is something that I vehemently spoke of in so many of my videos, and nobody seems to care. Well, to be honest, I'm kind of a nobody, but so many other big streamers like Asmongold have spoken against this, and it doesn't seem any... I don't see any wind of change from Steven, okay? And I don't think we're gonna see it anytime soon, because Steven is a hardcore Arcade player, and he kind of took it to the extreme, because Arcade was actually pretty fine. Now, there were a lot of bad parts. As far as I remember, I only played for like a day, but I watched a lot of videos about it, so... I am kind of confused what he's trying to do here, and why isn't he communicating with us about this exact topic? He could have said so much more. Like, yeah, we're looking into it, we're gonna see if we can pull more casual players. And by the way, don't get me wrong, if they make this game entirely PvP MMORPG, and it seems like they're about to do that, I think that's fine. At the end of the day, it's their game. But at the same time, I do say that so many people have backed you up thinking that this game is going to be PvE game. So, yeah, you kind of owe them something. But at the same time, like, don't ever back up a Kickstarter project. That's really all I can say. No, Steven, this current system of PvP is going to be griefed and abused, and 95% of the player base will hate it. True. No, Steven, crate running has the potential to completely ruin the meta of caravans. Absolutely. No, Steven, deep sea fishing is not a priority right now. Oh, man, they actually prioritize that? We have hundreds of unfinished systems that you have left behind to move on to the next task. I mean, true. The game is so bare bones. There's nothing in. There's nothing to do. You just grind the same spot for ages and, you know, get ganked by sweats, and apparently losing to a guild that just controls everyone and ruin everyone on the server's life. And now I believe they jumped to a different server, if I'm not mistaken. People have told me about that. Guys, please confirm this. I would like to remind everybody that they are on Unreal Engine 5. Thank you! Oh my god! Oh my god, I feel so vindicated right now. Thank you. Why am I the only one who constantly mention that they're not using an engine that belongs to them? Thank you. Whoever wrote this, but massive W. Have enough vote. You earned that, Chief. Wow. It feels like I'm the only one talking about this. Guys, you need to understand. I've seen one developer projects on Unreal Engine 5 that are better than Ashes. I don't know what a 250 developer crew are doing that this is all we have right now. It's like they're doing nothing. I don't know what it is. It's like a money laundering scheme. I don't know what they're doing, honestly. I mean, it's so crazy. What are they doing? What are they on about? How they're progressing so slow, and they're not even focusing on the right stuff. It's just weird, man. Something's fishy. They are not on some broken tech like Amazon Lumberyard, but it feels like they are. The technical finesse these teams seem to lack is awe-inspiring. I want this game to succeed, but Christ almighty, are the concerns growing and quickly. Yes. Yes, this is true. Let's see what people have, what the hell happened? To the comments. Reddit is trying to hide from me. Oh, there we go. Company seems normal. Sometimes you just have $42 million in annual operating expenses without income. It's fine. True. Damn. I mean, that's weird. Yeah, he's right. He's right. Working on is attended. This game is not for you. Embrace the suck. Oh, man. The casual catchphrases. I love them. I love hearing that. It's not for you. True, Chief. It's not for everyone. Enjoy the game this, by the way. The Star Citizen Saga without the funding model. Great, huh? Cool. Concurrent numbers are cratering. I don't think it's fine. Yeah, it's not. That's true. He's right. I think it's pretty clear from their system design philosophy that there is absolutely none of the team capable of saying no to scope creep or unnecessary shit. Well, at the end of the day, Steven is kind of funding everything. Nobody want to speak against the king, otherwise they're gonna get executed, right? I mean, figuratively, not. I hope not literally. The entire game depends on that server meshing working. Every system was designed around it, so at this point they get it working or the game is done. I mean, okay, but still, it means that you need to have no features. And also, how much time does it take you to work on server mesh? Other people have done it. And also, you could have done the testing server on a completely different scale and just test the systems and don't test the server mesh and just do it in a later date. I mean, it's kind of odd. I don't really understand that point. You could do a mock-up server for sure, and then test everything together. And your comment about Unreal Engine 5, they're on the most recent version. That's not the same as you just saying it's on UE5. What's the difference? What's the difference? Why did you just throw that sentence out there without explaining anything? What's the difference between UE5 latest version to the one he's talking about? Okay. Sure. So, wait, let's see what actually he wrote here. Rumor has it that the server meshing technology is a potential product for Interpret to sell. Okay. That was actually something I remember hearing well over a month ago. If this is true, it would completely make sense that they're focused on it currently. Really? So they want to sell the tech. Oh, yeah, he said it on livestream? Okay. Sure. Again, we don't know if this is true or not, but if it is, I guess Steven wants more money. Makes sense, makes sense. Anyone remember? No, I don't know who that is. This is exactly why I questioned the figure. Highly suspected. Yeah, I think, okay, at this point it kind of goes into speculations. But, yeah, I mean, general frustration, surely, is so apparent here. I mean, clearly the community is kind of, how do I say it? I guess the disillusion is slowly starting to settle in. I mean, people are waking up. It's clear. It's clear. They're starting to understand that you can't have a crew of fully employed developers and this is all we have. It just doesn't make any sense. People are starting to understand that. And I'm actually glad because it felt like I was kind of shouting against the wind here. But no, people are starting to realize. That's great. So let's see what we have here. 10 years of coding, Ashes Junior developers. What? Okay. If this is about coding stuff, I don't understand. You guys would have to explain it to me. Finally set up your XP depth value based on portion of current level. Get player XP for current level. Get player. What in God's name? What is that code? For some reason, this formula always returns 0. Help? What? Can someone who understands coding explain it to me? It actually seems insane. Why did he wrote this? I understand that these are the lines for the code, but why did he type this? I don't get it. Let's see, maybe in the comments. What the hell is happening with my Reddit? Man, Steven is blocking me, guys, from getting more information. Can be a bad developer, can be an inexperienced developer. Yeah, true. Vibe coding, so they're not as bad as we thought. They're worse. You know what? Yeah, we can give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm not really gonna clown on them for that. Maybe it's just one person. Where I want to be fair, guys. I don't want to clown this game for no reason. I want to be fair. So you know, it can be anything. Long-term tester disappointed, plus a warning for all public crafters. Interesting. I think he's going to talk about how this one guild ruined all the crafting tables. Let's see. This is just a vent due to all of the stuff happening with the game currently. Yes, he's definitely about to talk about that. About her tester vents about his guild crafter being falsely banned. An interpret not carrying, closing tickets without investigation. Warning to all crafters, if our assumption is correct, if you craft using duped RMT mass... Oh, there's a duping problem in the game too? Knowingly or unknowingly, you might get flagged and permabanned, and the interpret will not look deeper into your appeal case. Jeez! Wow, it reminds me of that Elden Ring bug that people have abused where they can take the panties of a certain NPC and give them to other players just as a gift. And then the game recognizes that you have an item that should not be attainable, and they instantly ban you. It actually reminds me of this. This is quite funny. Okay? I'm a member of a well-known guild on Lothria, or Lotharia server that tries to play on a more hardcore PvP guild. This is a fun gameplay for us. Regardless, if this is just an alpha test, contrary to what people like to meme about us, it is a guild policy that a bug abuse exploiting RMD is not allowed. Okay, so they're ethical. They're ethical sweats. I appreciate that. The artisan pipeline in the guild tries to min-max the process. It was done in a way that all crafting and a good part of processing was funneled through a single guild member. He was boosted, fed gold and mats to level artisan profession quickly, had 4 ults, all level 20 plus, in order to position crafting ults near stations, and each character leveling its own artisan profession. He's well known in the community for what he does. Due to this setup, literally thousands gold worth of mats was flowing through him on a weekly basis. Damn, that's a lot of investment into one person. He did nothing but artisan stuff. His main has crap gear. He was level 23. He was flagged and banned in the ban wave of 14 January. This happened to multiple other crafters in bigger guilds and on other servers. I cannot speak for any other person being banned, but this case we're sure is false positive. We cannot reliably confirm we didn't unknowingly have RNT in the guild. Few members who were trial members at the time were also banned in that wave, and they were promptly kicked. Oh, so they had literal rats, literal 007s. You only know what 000s that basically came into the guild, scouted after their main crafter, and just false flagged him. That's great. That's great. It reminds me of that World of Warcraft classic experience where we tried to open the gates of Anchorage and everyone started falsely reporting the leaders that wanted to open the gate for the other side, and Blizzard just automatically banned them. Oh, I remember that. But to be honest, and to be fair towards Blizzard, which, you know, I have to do here on this channel, they did fix the problem, and they banned everyone who falsely reported. So they have fixed it. Maybe Interpret will do the same. Who knows? But I highly doubt that. So, reasons for his bans are unknown and are assumptions because some of the RNT or duped materials went through him into crafted items. An Interpreted banned script simply following the mats and gold. He appealed immediately, and today he received confirmation that investigation was done and he will not be unbanned. No reason given. Other banned crafter received the same message. All messages within 5 minutes, so you can interpret investigation however you like. Yeah, they just sent them an automated message and that's it. They don't care. So, I don't care about the sad current state of the game. I don't care about bugs, rollbacks, or Interpret generally missing more than hitting lately. I don't care about Interpret putting character names instead of account names on ban lists to artificially inflate it. What? They actually do that? As a fan service, it's an alpha and the shit will get wiped in probably months. The game will get better eventually. I do care, however, about how Interpret handled the live service. This leaves a lasting mark, trust is lost, and people who quit due to stuff like this might never come back or care to report bugs anymore. So Steven, I apologize, but this does not feel like a game made by gamers for the gamers to me anymore. You are very likely looking at multiple testers with 500 plus hours played, hundreds of bugs reported stepping away from the game, and not just until the next wipe. Let the memes in the comments begin, and no, you can't have my gold. Hilarious, hilarious. I mean, you know what? I actually appreciate whoever wrote this, because he clearly loves the game and he enjoyed it and he played it to the utmost experience. He did pretty much everything with a Guild of Sweats, and even he's starting to talk about this. The treatment from Interpid was so bad I didn't even know about that. I mean, even to the most devoted players, they don't care. Like, they just don't. They roll an automated ban message for you without even investigating or bothering to even look into it for some reason. And this is actually serious. I mean, if you can do this, it would totally hinder the experience, because you know that the, let's call it unethical gamers that would stay in the game, the sweats, they would abuse this. They would abuse this 100%. And you bet there are more loopholes still to be discovered. So that is really bad. The fact that they didn't even bother to look into it is actually highly suspicious. It's so weird. Just buy 500 worth of gold and give it to the person you don't like, then report from the... Yeah, they're cooking. They know. As the data mining. As a crafter, this is exactly what happened to me. Wow. Fate lost 100%. This is how you deal with player appeals with no investigation. And AI bot response with no real reason. Yeah, that's crazy. That's actually crazy. What is great? I mean, at some point, some crafter was just stupid. I mean, come on. I heard stories about crafter in the guild gloating by getting 30 epic other crafter says. I mean, yeah, they could have paid attention to it, but the problem is whether the script, whether the ban script the Interpid used to ban everyone actually included all duped materials, and that's it. Even if you had one duped materials crafted, I mean, were you screwed? That's really the point. I don't really know. And honestly, it's one of those things that's kind of very difficult to take care of, because you need to pinpoint all the peoples who indulge themselves in such debauchery. And this is very difficult. Even with 10k people, like, this is extremely difficult. So I wouldn't really blame Interpret for that. I mostly would blame them for the AI bot response, because in my opinion, they should have just done rollback and unban everyone and just take all the duped materials and that's it, and just start a clean slate. So, let's see another post here. Tough love. Okay, interesting. Dear Interpret, oh, that's quite a love letter. I want to preface by saying that I do believe in the project, and I do want it to succeed. I do not, however, believe that the people working to develop this game share the same sentiment. I don't want names, and I don't want to name names. I just want this project to succeed. There does not seem to be any true oversight or any real leadership happening to control workflow and ensure updates are pushed in a working state. I may not know a lot about coding or game development, but I do know what poor leadership looks like, and this is it. I'm actually appreciating this guy so much. Again, people who love this game and talk about it, talk against it, I feel like they deserve much more praise, for sure. Because it's easy to be a hater and constantly complain about a game, but it's way more difficult to love a game and still speak against it. I understand that, and I respect that too. And also, this is true. I really hate the fact that, oh, you're not a developer argument. Guys, I know that using Unreal Engine 5 is difficult. Believe me, I know that. But again, I've seen single developer projects doing way more than Ashes. And having 250 people fully developing your game on your payroll using essentially backwards money, you know, it's kind of a problematic thing, right? When this is all you have, it's really weird. The hard truth is that you are floundering. There is no cohesion between systems and teams that I can see, and when patches are pushed to live either form PTR or straight off the rip, there are always problems. Are you using the same builds to test updates? It certainly doesn't seem to be the case. What's the focus? Where is the focus? What is the disconnect? Oh, but it's only alpha. It's only alpha. Come on, where's the guy? I want to see the first comment says that. I have spent enough time in management and with management to know where things are off. I also know this is likely due to one hand in too many cookie jars, so to speak. Who are the lead devs of each team? Are they actually leading their teams, or do we have someone making decision over their heads and not letting them do their jobs? To me, it doesn't seem like we are allowing people to do their jobs. You know what? This is a very good point, and I actually think he's right. I think that in a few years, it might be even less than that, honestly. We're gonna see more and more people that openly speaks against interpreted work environment. I really think we do that. Exactly just like happened with Blizzard. Exactly like Blizzard. We're gonna see more and more people rising up and say, like, hey, leadership was poor. We're gonna see more people say that. Hopefully, and not anything about drinking certain type of milk. I really don't want to see that again. But, you know, we have to wait and see. It also doesn't seem like there is any proper division of labor. I don't really care what you say is happening in-house because the evidence of our eyes shows that nothing is being effectively done. Thank you. Thank you, man. Finally, someone says it. I always say, oh, like people like to tell me, the Ashes defenders always come to my comments and they tell me, dude, you don't know what they're cooking. You have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. They have so many systems in store for us. We just have to wait and see. Brother, we waited 10 plus years. How long do we have to wait until we actually get a resemblance of a good game? A whiff of it, okay? A whiff of it would be enough for me. But no, we got nothing. After 10 years, nothing is being showcased to us. So how long are you gonna keep this illusion going of a stable work environment in Interpret Studios? Like, that's not happening. Clearly, that's not the case. I mean, how dull can you be? I have watched over this past year, and a bit of as things have felt like they were going backwards and not forwards. Server stability, somehow worse than it is in early 2025. Economy, I don't even know where to start with that. Itemization, boring. Power being at the end, at the end all be all, and there is no disputing that past a certain point is bad for the game, just to name a few. You say embrace the suck, fine, but does that not give you agency? But that does not give you agency as a business that sells a product. Oh god, this guy's cooking. Just to not move forward. I bought in with the Alpha 1 supported packs back in 2020 because I believed in this project. My guildmates have spent even more than I have in some cases because they believed in this project. This ain't it. You have to be better. Stop yelling at your players to stop yelling at you. Start listening to why they're yelling. The last 3 updates have been patched in and then reverted immediately. This looks and feels very bad. The lead economy designer job posting was taken down, hopefully filled at the end of November. Where is the communication on that? Why has there been no communication? Because Steven likes to tell you what he wants you to see. There's clearly a screen being put in front of us, and that's all they want us to do, you know, just look at. They put up a front, because if we saw what really happened behind the curtains, we'll all be mad. There would be no Ashes lovers, there would only be haters. Now, that being said, I'm definitely not a hater, even though people do call me that, because I am critical of the game. I truly wish Ashes to succeed because I want a good MMORPG just as much as you guys. I truly want that. But that being said, I am kind of a realistic person, and whenever I see that in front of me isn't a good product, I'm going to assume that things aren't going right. And whenever people aren't being transparent, it's gonna just confirm my beliefs. So it's very difficult for me to be cordial towards this game because there is nothing for me to grab on. I can't really say, hey, I love this about Ashes, because I don't really like anything. It all seems so basic and generic, the systems are practically non-existent, and there's nothing for me to say, hey, I love this. They're doing this very well. They didn't do anything. That's really the problem. The only thing I can maybe compliment is the node system, which should be the bread and butter of this game. It should be the beating heart of Ashes. But even that is poorly implemented. So at which point can I go, oh, I like this game? I can't. It's bad. Everything about this game just yells mediocrity and, to be honest, just poor design. So it's really bad. There's nothing for me to compliment. It gets hard to have faith in you guys when these things are constantly happening. I don't see content creators pushing back very often, and when they do, they often met with it's an alpha, go take a break. Yeah, absolutely, so true. And I mean, yeah, not many content creators are pushing against this. You know what? I'm gonna finish what he wrote, and then I'm gonna talk about that. Then they're dismissed as negative. Yeah, and that's it. Hold yourselves to a higher standard. If you don't, we will leave, and all you'll be left with is a giant mess of debt and failed project brought upon by your own failure to self-accountability. Brother, they already got your doubloons. They do not care about your opinion. They literally don't. And to the point that I wanted to make, yeah, this is absolutely true, what he wrote there. And the reason you don't see many content creators going against Ashes is because every single content creator is so desperate to succeed in a new MMORPG that they're willing to sacrifice their soul and literally their entire integrity just to be on good terms with Steven. Because they hope that one day Ashes would release, you know, before their grandkids would come to this earth, and they would be at the top of the streaming charts. At the end of the day, I do understand this, because this is a business. I understand. They want to increase their market value by being the first content creator to, let's say, reach a stable viewership in Ashes of Creation. Unfortunately, I don't think the dream will happen. I don't believe Ashes would release in a good state. I think everyone is going to clown on this game, and everyone who banks on this game being successful and being at the top of it is just being delusional. But that's my opinion. Now, you can say that I bank on hating it, and you know what? Partially, that may be true. But at the end of the day, this is what I really believe. The reason I make these videos is not only because you guys love them and ask me for more, but because I believe this is actually important for the entire ecosystem. I believe that speaking against bad practice and bad faith actors is beneficial for all of us, because at the long run, we all want the same thing, a good MMORPG to play on. We all want that. And when we don't speak against bad practice, we're just gonna have more of it in the future. And that's why I was so vocal about the $50 early alpha access, because I think that if we don't push back enough on it, you're gonna see more and more companies doing the same thing. And I don't want that to happen. I don't want to see like $100 beta tests, okay? I think it's really bad. I don't like to pay copious amount of money to essentially be a tester for a game. I think that if you want true testers, you either pinpoint really important people that would actually devote their time to this game and just give it to them for free, or maybe sell it for $5. I think that would have been acceptable. But for the most part, $50 early alpha access are not acceptable under any terms whatsoever, in my opinion. So yeah, I don't want to be here too much. Let's read one more post, if there's an interesting one. Player base is incredibly toxic. Okay, seems like a good one. Let's end on a banger. This thread is just a rant. That's good. I love ranting. And it is a different toxic... damn it, what the hell happened with it? And it is a different toxicity experience from the PvP toxicity side. Okay, interesting. Trading in this game is really mentally exhausting, and I just want to share my experiences with the people just to show you how weird the player base is. That's interesting. Okay. For context, I'm a jewelry crafter, and after level 20, I stopped everything to focus on this so I can afford my items. Made 200 gold so far. Sold like 11 plus blue petal set and 1 heroic set. This part is kind of important because, see, I do sell the items, I have no problem with selling them, and they usually go fast. It's not like I'm stuck with my items. Toxic part is 80% of my interaction with the players is very toxic and mentally exhausting, like it's a psychological battle. For example, in my server, crafting cost of blue petal set is around 10 to 11 gold, depending on the time of the day, and I sell them for 16, 18 again, depending on the time of the day. And people actually legit expect me to sell them the whole set for crafting cost and insult me for not doing so, or try their weird tactics to fool me. What? People are actually trying to swindle you inside of the game? Wow, that's actually kind of realistic. You know what? Hey, why not? If I don't accept their 13 gold something offer, please tell me they bully you and they actually send entire guilds after you. They send their friends guild. Yes, I knew it! Oh my god. Pretend like there are buyers and spam me with the same lowballing offer to make it look like that's the price and try to fool me. It's legit pathetic. I knew it, man. Oh, guys, do you remember when I told you that the structure of Ashes only brings the worst out of people because this only caters to the 1%? This is it. This is exactly it. And I mean, this is what Steven wanted. I bet Steven would read that post and go like, yeah, they're trying to swindle. They're trying to bargain. Like, that's good. They're using their community to bully people into submission. That's so good. That's exactly what I wanted. And that's why the game is going to die, by the way. Like, because of that. Because Steven thinks that this is fun interaction and this is actually engaging. And people likes to call it friction. They use that word a lot. Ashes Defender love this word. You know, it is what it is, man. You can't talk sense to them. They send childish messages like, you call that cheap? My friend bought the same for 10 gold yesterday. XD. If someone uses XD, immediately block them. It must be rage bait at some point. I spent thousands of mat at the time for upgrading this proficiency without any profit. I spent 50 plus gold on crafting gear to increase the quality, which is even not even at the highest. And I do spend gold every time for buffs too. Jesus, what happened to my reading skills? I'm standing in the town all day shouting to buy the mats for possibly cheap so I can increase my profit margin. Which is also another mentally challenged part because just because someone put common zinc to market for 2 silver and staying there for eternity doesn't mean that the price of common zinc is 2 silver. So it's cringe when you fight with me when I don't want to buy it for 2, taking that stupid price as reference. So crafting mats don't rain on me magically, so I can craft 50 of them on demand. I still spend a lot of time buy craft mine, the mats too. I'm doing it for myself, not for you. It is not my duty to provide you stuff cheap as possible gold. Go gather your own mats and upgrade your proficiency. Spend all that time and money then. I'm not your charity. This could have been solved by basically having a proper auction house, but all the quality of life issues, separate markets in separate towns, and high taxes making it really hard to use the auction house. I wish it was, it's not that expensive to use, so I could just post my stuff in the market and not deal with this. This is a very good point. It was kind of a rant, but at the same time, he actually pinpointed a really strong problem. Like, the economy just sucks. Because you have all of this dividends between, I wouldn't call it really guilds, just towns, and you have different prices, I guess, over different towns. It creates a lot of disparity, and that's a huge problem because you need to make sure everyone is are on the same level, and that's very difficult to do when you essentially split the entire player base at their own server. This is really bad, and I understand his frustration. I wouldn't want to play in such an economy as well. And even when you try to do your best to kind of stabilize the economy, you're just being swindled by so many sweats. It's just laughable. It's honestly laughable. I understand this guy's frustration. Let's read some of the comments here. You're playing with the people who are no-lifing a niche game in alpha state. What did you expect? True. And exactly, these are the type of people Steven wants. What in God's name is going on? That's actually insane. But wow. Okay, there were so many underlying issues with the game I wasn't even aware of. So thank you guys so much for telling me to actually check the Reddit again. I did not expect this. At the end of the day, do I think all of these problems are solvable? Yes, I do. I do think you can solve everything. But at the same time, I don't think they will. I don't think they will be solved because I clearly don't see any good intentions from Interpid. Definitely not from Steven. You don't see him answer to any of this. Recently, in my recent video, I covered a Steven response that looked like a ChatGPT answer. It didn't even look like a human wrote it. And it completely ignored all of the problems that the guy who posted on Reddit actually mentioned and brought up. Steven just completely ignored everything under the pretension that, hey, it's just an alpha, bro. That's it. Like, suck it up. And yeah, they don't seem to have any good reasoning whatsoever. But to be honest, I think they're just taking your money and then they're just gonna release a subpar product. That's pretty much it.